Hey JD, how's it going, man? How are you this evening? Looks like it just started raining, so hopefully it doesn't knock out power. Oh, what's going on, man? How's it going, Naruto? Been a pretty long day. I got a yeah. If you guys can hear the rain in the background, that's what that is. The sky literally just started opening up, so I'm hoping it doesn't get too serious and I don't lose power. Otherwise, the live stream will cut out in the middle of it. But I got my yard mowed, my yard work done. Got a good leg workout in today, and I had some sushi for dinner, so I'm good. Oh, all right. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to take up too much time waiting on people to join in. Of course, it's always recorded, so you guys can always watch it at another time. All right. So let's jump back into our portfolio update. How we're doing. Okay. So the last update. August, we ended August almost $38,000 in profit, so it was a great month. September, we're starting off on a bad foot. We lost $11,000 on the first week, and I haven't taken a trade since. The market really just kind of hasn't really given me any real clear setups yet. There's been a few scalps on altcoins. But I don't have too much freed up at the moment, so I'm trying not to, get overexposed back into the market or anything. So I've kind of been just sidelined mostly. So yeah, still hit that loss on O&T, and so everybody's been following. O&T bounced into profit. So if it wasn't for that wick, and we'll look at O&T in a second. Actually, we'll go look at it right here. So if we look at O&T, this was where my liquidation price was, just barely underneath that support right there, and then this scam wick that took me for about $11,000 in one day. So then this red line up here was my original entry, and you can see it went a little bit above my entry. So had I not got taken out, I mean, that's 10, 11, 12% above my original entry. So I had a 3x leverage, so that would have been 33% profit or so had I cashed out up there. So instead of losing 11,000, I would have made probably about 3,000 in just this little spike right here, maybe $3,000-4,000 or something in just that little bit. So yep, I'm still pretty salty about that. Whacked me pretty good. Let's see, we ended August with, since we started this in May, we're at 10,400% return, and that loss on O&T knocked us down to 8,200%. So still good run, can't complain. All right, so let's go check out the markets. We'll see what's going on with Bitcoin. All right, so I'm using this Apex screener that I showed you guys, or the videos that I posted for you guys. If you guys want to use this and follow us, I'm looking at the liquidity swarm here to see what across all of the different exchanges that Bitcoin is on, to kind of get a gauge of what the bulls are going to do. Where's the bids? Where's the sells? And it looks pretty gridlocked. So we can see some big sell circles here, so that's indication that there's some big sales, big shorts probably waiting up here. At the same time, some decent bids and some big circles there for some bids. Bitfinex looks pretty gridlocked. Bittrex, Binance, I mean, they mostly look all pretty gridlocked. So this is kind of a little bit of an indication that we may see some more chop. I don't see one side maybe up here on Kraken, but these look like a few smaller sales there, smaller bids or sell walls or shorts waiting. So in other words, we looked. It doesn't look like any side is winning. I don't see anybody that's really putting up a fight on any side that's going to suggest whether if we're going to dump or if we're going to pump. It all looks pretty well even, so we may chop around. Okay, so let's go look at our Bitcoin chart. Still holding the support range, just as noted, and I figured we probably have, I don't know, I said like maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 days or so from when we hit this bottom support that we may kind of just grind on up, and there's really no change. We've still been just kind of flopping around in, what is this, about 5%, 6% range right there. So really no change on Bitcoin. Now, I wanted to note this, though, on this moving, on the 7-day moving average. Let me go ahead and delete that. Okay, so we have another bearish histogram right there. Our 7-day moving average did roll. Price action is still underneath that 7-day moving average. So this, look how where that's a resistance line is that we had on the daily, and we've had this target up here for quite some time. So look how it's going to retest those two wicks, and also happens to be right exactly where that 7-day moving average now is. So that is still what I'm expecting to hold as a resistance, and I'm not going to flip back bull on my bias unless we get over that price target and close it. Maybe a retest or something. Otherwise, I'm still kind of leaning a little bit bear here. So I just don't know when this rug's going to get pulled, or if we're just going to just kind of float right here, which would be really, really odd, and basically remake this structure right here, because good, nice run up, and then a drop candle. This was a bigger drop candle, but you can see price action still really just kind of floating right here, so I don't know if we might see the same thing. I'm not going to bank on it, though. All right, it's rolling out to the weekly. Today is not Sunday. We're still on Saturday. Okay, so we got another day left in the weekly candle. You see that right there? We got 24 hours. But I don't like how this is rolling over as well, and that MACD is still going under. So I really haven't changed my bias on Bitcoin. To me, it still pretty well looks the same. We're ranging just as I had noted, or from the last update, and it's a pretty tight range, 6%, and it looks really rocky. So what I'm going to really be looking out for is look at the 6 hour here. Look how the MACD is slowly grinding up. Okay, so the MACD is slowly grinding up as we're still ranging in price, and at some point this is going to come across over, and then it's going to catch a reset. That is where I'm going to be looking to see when this falls out of the sky. So if we're looking at a similar structure, I'm looking right here from the last drop that killed the market when we were testing up at the last high. So this is a very similar structure that we're in now before the last drop all the way down to that 3,000. Oh, that 3,000. So that's what I'm going to be looking for right here on the MACD to mirror right here. See? So we're ranging, tight range there. There's a tight range here, and then one last pump to test the previous broken support there. So I'm going to be looking to see if we do the same here. I don't know if we'll even get this high. We may only test that 10.7, 10.8 mark. We may only test at the bottom of those resistance wicks right there. So really not a whole lot has changed. This is pretty well dead on from the last live stream and from the last 2 or 3 updates. We're just going to chop until this is ready to roll back over, and then I'm going to see how that next 5-day candle is going to look, or if it's going to happen on this 5-day candle. Because since this candle, and we closed the last 5-day candle, that's a nasty chop candle right there. That didn't do much of anything. But this candle, as long as it stays under the 7-day moving average as resistance, I mean, it could still just come up a little bit on low time frames bull, and then still just drop within the next 4 days on this candle. So that's why I'm watching that 6-hour MACD a little bit closer than I am some of these higher time frames, so we can maybe catch that short just in time. Other than that, I don't see any change in Bitcoin. Same with Ethereum. Ethereum, I think we had noted that we might be testing 400. That's 404. It's close enough. Still at the top of that resistance right there. And we're still kind of trying to test into that zone there. So we're right on track with Ethereum. Again, this is now this was a support and a support. Now we're under it. We've lost that support, so now it's going to be holding as a resistance unless we get above it. So if this doesn't close back above that $400 mark, we might just range up here and then catch that drop. Same as Bitcoin. The only way that we can consider this a bullish structure, I didn't want that. Give me a new one. The only way that we're going to consider this bull is if we come up here on a pump to test that 440 mark right here, up at that next resistance zone, and then pull back to 400 to flip it as support, and then we can catch another break up. Otherwise, again, just like Bitcoin, if it follows Bitcoin, we're gonna range under $400 and then drop. Okay, so that's what the daily looks like. Now we can go to our higher time frames, and we can gauge there, get our bias there. So see, look at their 5-day ready to roll under bear here. Doesn't look good for ETH. Okay, look at the MACD. Overextended right here on the histograms. Our MACD lines got a pretty good gap. See this gap right here from our histograms? We're getting weaker in our histograms, and it looks like we're about to cross under bear. Okay, so when that happens, we're likely going to come down here to test the 230s, 240s again. So again, as long as we range under here, and we're going to come back down. And we can still be bull on a macro level by flipping this support here. This will just be another higher low, which is perfectly fine. I'll take that. Maybe something like that. Which would put us roughly February to March. Just rough guessing. It may be spring or something before the next big Ethereum push. Now again, that's if we cannot hold $400. If we can hold $400, yeah, sure, we might can flip the bias bull there. But right now, it doesn't look like it the way that MACD looks. So far, both Bitcoin and Ethereum look to be right on point, as we had talked about in the last live stream. So far, dead on point. So like Bitcoin on the 6-hour, okay, MACD gonna come up, and at some point it's got to roll over to catch a reset. So that would kind of fit that bias that we're just gonna chop up here and then maybe not hold $400 and then fall. So it's getting a little scary here. Let's look at the weekly. Okay, so weekly did not roll yet on the 7-day. Well, you still kind of see it right there. Still kind of pointing up a little bit. It hasn't quite rolled like Bitcoin has. So we may have a little bit more time on Ethereum than Bitcoin, which is perfectly fine. That just means as long as ETH is strong, altcoins can be strong. So we may still test 400 to 440 on Ethereum's weekly. So I'm not too worried yet on Ethereum as I am Bitcoin. So I'm really wondering if this is going to be the flippening. If this is where Ethereum is going to flip Bitcoin and even break dominance from Bitcoin, which I'll happily take because that would be good for altcoins, as altcoins are practically built on Ethereum anyways. All right, so let's go look at our dominance. Our dominance, okay, and for any newcomers, what this shows is Bitcoin's dominance over altcoins. So we want to see this continue to drop, as this means that it's good for altcoins. When dominance increases, it means Bitcoin holds dominance over altcoins, and altcoins will bleed. So those will not be good trades. But so far, we are respecting this upper trend line down in this channel quite well. I'm kind of cautious here of the little low-key double bottom thing. Now here's what I'm also just looking at right here. This is still technically bullish diverging. Well, it looks like that divergence may have played out right here on this pop that kind of crushed altcoins. But nonetheless, we're still trending bullish on the MACD here. And we're still trending bull on the RSI, which could be bad for altcoins. So this is going to continue to snake up, as well as the RSI. And this could maybe catch one more little low there to kind of test this bottom support right here. Looks like we're still kind of testing this range. That looks about right. So hopefully we get a little bit more of a low here, and over the next, I hope this happens over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 days or so, because if we hold this support at the same time that our indicators are increasing, that would fit the next dump in Bitcoin, which would shoot that dominance up and pull our altcoins back. So hopefully our altcoins see some pushes in the next few days or so. Otherwise, time to bail. All right, so let's look at Algo. I think Algo was a request that somebody had earlier. Again, this is a USD pair. USD pairs are going to follow Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is not bullish, US dollar pairs are not going to be bullish either. So we got to be very cautious there. Yep, see, this is what I was worried about for Bitcoin. Look how the MACD kind of snaked its way up, and now it looks like it wants to come down for a little bit of a reset. So unless the bulls show up here, I wouldn't get your hopes up on Algo. It looks like it just crossed under bear on the 5 hour. It's a nice little bull flag though. There's your flagpole. And turn that off. So not too bad. I mean, it's holding the bull flag at least. However, I wouldn't get too crazy bullish just on that just yet on that MACD. And it did pull a resistance flip. Okay, so here this rejection and this rejection that held all of this structure down. We broke above that red line, and now we're holding it as support. So this still could kind of flag that a little bit more and then catch another bounce. If it loses 38 cents, game over. I don't remember who was in Algo. But this would be your invalidation right here. If it loses 38 cents, I would consider bailing. All right, A and B was somebody's request. I don't really know what's going on with A and B lately. I thought they were doing a token swap, and the Ambrosis token was like dead or something, and they were swapping it, so I'm not sure what's going on right here. But somehow, even after the Bitcoin drop that crushed altcoins, this one managed to pump 75% from that low. That's pretty crazy. Nonetheless, got that wick, and you got that rejection, and it looks like it's still holding that rejection right there. So this is not going anywhere without a nice clean break over 270. If it can get above 270, yeah, sure, great, it might do something. But a resistance is a resistance until it's broken. You got that wick over there too. So that wick is matching that wick, which is matching that rejection, which is matching this rejection. So if there's no break over 270, and a close rather, let's go ahead and call that about 275, 280, just to be on the safe side. If there's no clean break over that, then, I mean, yeah, it can pump. But if there's not, then it's just going to fall back and probably see if it can't make another higher low. So we could throw a trend line, which would put that back around 200 Satoshi or something. Okay, so that's daily. Let's look at our 4 hour. 4 hour is not rolled over yet, so that might still get some life in it. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. It might break. The good news is that what I'm seeing so far on a lot of altcoins is that each of them are making all higher lows. That can be taken as a good sign. So if A and B fails to break and close 275, 280, let's just call it 280, be on the safe side, then we'll see a pull back to 185, 190 or something, make another higher low, and then target would be about 450 off of the previous highs. O and T, we already looked at O and T. No change to KMD. Again, low, higher low, higher low, higher low, all the way across. Indicators are also respecting the trend line, snaking its way up. Bull cross on the MACD there. However, there's not a whole lot of buying pressure here because these are pretty weak looking candles. That's fine. I don't care. I'll take a slow grind up or something. I mean, I only need about 8% to break even on that. Targets are still valid. So really no change on KMD. Still just kind of waiting and doing its thing. Ion, well, looks to be doing its thing too. So we got a low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Same with indicators. It was a good first little push here. So from the lows, I mean, that did go about 24%, and it did cut my losses down. Let me see. So my losses here were about $4,500 to $4,600 each position. So now we're down to about $3,100, $3,200. So it's cut the losses down a lot. So if I were to close all my positions now in losses, that's $369, maybe $9,500 more loss, but at least I'd be out. And my money would be safe in the event that Bitcoin does die again. So if I took, a $9,500 loss to go with that, we'll take a $20,000 loss for this month, and we still have, still got the rest of the month to try to make it up. So that's one strategy that I can consider, but I may ride this one out a little bit longer just to see if we can at least get back up to near that 1400 mark and test this resistance breakout zone and see if it's going to break or reject. So I'm still watching that. I'm hoping Bitcoin doesn't just ruin the party and just wicks it down and then pops it up. I'd be so pissed. Okay, requests. What kind of requests you guys got out there? I mean, there's been some strength across altcoins, not a whole lot. Let's see, I think, did Atom move? Yep, Atom's pretty well doing what we had charted. Okay, kind of chopped around and still under our resistance target, but it might be kind of trying to crop up there. ICX, yeah, ICX looked like it had a pretty good move today too. Well, damn. That was all. That was pretty well spot on. Well, if we were to put a trend line on, or if we were to put a target line on the tip of that squiggly there, we were only off by 3.5%. So this is what I noted in the last live stream for across the board, that you would see this, as we just saw with Algo and Atom. Okay, so let's go back to, okay, this is what I noted that we would see across the board on altcoins. Okay, we came down to some pretty heavy support zones, and we consolidated before catching some bounces. So Atom there looks almost identical to ICX. So we came down on support, kind of consolidated, and then caught a good bounce. I mean, that's, you know, almost a 30% bounce, and we're seeing some rejection there. Okay, so we got to take notes of these two wicks right here. So the bulls did not step in on these wicks. Okay, the bears kind of slapped them back down, so that little ride may be over right there for ICX. This may come back down. MACD is coming under, RSI is coming under. So now what we want to see for ICX is if there's a continuation trend, then we want to at least see if we come back and retest that support. So we want to make okay, so support and then a breakout, and then we want to buy the retest. We'll see if that might play out. So we want to hold a target at around 4,200 or so, 4,300 Satoshi. Okay, so if we invalidate this, if we invalidate under, let's call that 4,250, then we're gonna either revisit this low back down here at 3,850, or we might as well come all the way back down here, because this looks like some pretty heavy support right here. So there might be some good supply down there. So this one, ICX, looks a little cooked right now. And so we're just kind of playing the name of the game. Support is support until broken. Resistance is resistance until broken. So we didn't quite reach the top of this target here. Missed that by about 3%, which is okay. And looks like this is a big nasty rejection candle. We may kind of pop up and maybe test about 4,800 again or so on the next 2-hour candle. But this looks like it may be sapped a little and wants to come back down to test about 4,250. O&T Neo. Well, we kind of looked at O&T. O&T is just kind of just chopping around. So we got to flip this, obviously. Okay, so strong dump candle below the 7-day moving average, and then a strong pump candle to push it back above the 7-day moving average. And now this original entry line is what we would like to see hold as support, because as now where the price action candle is above that 7-day moving average. So let's drop down to 4-hour. Definitely coming down. MACD is already under bear. I don't think this is going to hold as a support. I think it's going to drop a little bit lower to at least test 700 off of that wick, So we'll make us a little pocket zone. That may be too deep. I'd place 700 support first. I'm not quite sure if that'll reach all the way into the 670s. That might be a tad low. So that did drop about 10%. So an ideal case for O&T. Obviously it's coming down. Something to that extent. Granted, if Bitcoin doesn't ruin the party. If Bitcoin ruins the party, then it's most likely going to revisit all the way back down here to the low 600s, and that'll drop it again for about another 20%. So I would play the 700 Satoshi support, maybe 680, 690-ish. Be good there. Neo. You want Bitcoin pair or dollar pair on Neo? Let's look at the dollar pair. What the hell, Neo? What are you doing? So that's March. I think this was right around when we stopped watching Neo. I think this is when somewhere around here, July I think is when I got whacked on Neo and gas, and then I stopped watching it. And since then it's done 120%. So it actually went to our previous target zones. That's a good resistance right there for Neo. Okay, at least tested the previous broken support there, retested that previous high, made a slightly higher high there. But this MACD looks kind of choppy. This might look like it's going to just range up here for maybe another day and then fall. Yeah, bulls didn't step in right here. So we got the rejection, then we got the retest of the resistance, and bulls didn't break above it. So that's still going to be that resistance, and this is not going anywhere without a clean break over 22. Well, let's call it 2250. God, I don't even know how to put a trend line on that. That is just a monstrous parabolic push there. And I don't even want to say that if this falls, that support is going to hold it. If this falls with Bitcoin, I think it's going to go on a much deeper reset, probably back down to about $10. That'd be a much better rebuy zone. Okay, so no clean break over 2250, 2300 even, or whatever. It's just going to range and lose strength on the MACD. Also, you can even, let's go to, oops, not the hourly, it's 2 hour. Yep, 2 hour looks like it's going to be going under. So if you can short Neo, shorting Neo would be fine. I'd short it down for a scalp to about $19.80, $20. Be a good quick scalp. It's about 6-7%. That doesn't look too bad for a short. MACD is definitely overextended. RSI is taking a hit. Where is my OBV? Okay, I guess we'll do it that way. OBV is still kind of ranging. It's kind of chopping around. Yeah, I don't see this getting too much of another push. I'm assuming and hoping you wanted the USD pair. So far from what I'm seeing, guys, it looks like most everything is still kind of spooked by Bitcoin. It just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of demand across the board. I don't even remember when we made this chart. Sure as shit respected that support though, didn't it? Let's just clear that. Alright. BTC pair. Good channel. Look at the MACD there, also way overextended. RSIs are going through the floor. OBV looks like it's going under there. Look at the OBV trending down. So like US dollar pair, gonna catch a pullback, wiggle its way back down, and try to respect this lower channel again. So that would put the price probably somewhere around 1740 Satoshi to retest this support. And then the whole structure is practically invalidated under 1700. God, God, that looks way parabolic. Still, to me, it looks like the market is just overall spooked. Yeah, come on, O&T. Yeah, come on, pop that candle up there, or Ion. Pop that candle up there, please. Okay, let's see. The other request, LTC, US dollar. I don't remember the last time we made these. LTC doesn't look too bad. MACD's about to go up bull there. OBV is bull. Good support resistance flip there. Okay, so this is the previous resistance here. See the failed break up here, and then the retest of the failed break there, and now we're holding it as support. So now we want to see at least a test of other resistances. Alright, so if this is going to follow Bitcoin and Ethereum over the next few days to get a little bit of a reset, I'd like to see somewhere. I mean, these are simple rules. Simple rules, guys. Okay, so this was a resistance because we failed to continue up and break. Okay, and then we retested that resistance and failed to break it again. And then here was the resistance break. Okay, so what once was resistance is going to become support. Okay, so now look at the support that it built here before the next leg up. Okay, and then we lost that support right here, so now it's going to act as resistance. So that $56 to $60 range is going to be a resistance. If you're longing it, I mean, it's going to snake its way up. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything to in a straight shot. I mean, you may hold the long for the next 4 or 5 days or so just to even get to about $56, where I would expect to see see a rejection there. Yeah, that's what we're on. We're on the dollar pair, LTC USD. So not too much of an update. I know it's not like it was last month when everything was popping and we were just making money left and right. Everything looks kind of spooked. Some good, nice bounces on everything from the dumps. See O&T, look at that, still dropping there on that candle. K&D, you're still okay. I mean, that's still my plan. I need Ion. If it catches an ELF-like pump, of course I know there was a difference between the two coins. I mean, pretty well near identical structures here. Okay, so here's a good pop out off of the accumulation bottom. Here's that good pop. Here's that snake down to a support just above the lows. Here's that same snake down, and then it built a resistance, 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 and then here's R3 rejections, and then low, higher low, higher low, and then a low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So I'm hoping that this just catches like an ELF type pump, and which would put it up here around 2,700. I'm not going to bank on that. I would still play these first two targets here. ELF did have some farming crap coming out, which I think is retarded. But the structures are still the same. The market caps were almost identical before the pump on ELF. I think they're both around that $34-35 million market cap mark. So obviously with this nice surge in ELF that went 260%, I think it kind of topped out around $130 million market cap. So I wouldn't rule out a scam pump on Ion either. So I'm still hoping for something. I'm not going to bank on a 250% pump. I'll gladly still take the upwards of 1850 and happily cash out about $30,000 profit. Now, if it went up here to this 2700 mark on a big pump, that'd be a nice $70,000 profit, and then I'll sit out the rest of the month. I'm not going to argue with that. ANKR. And once again, alts across the board are going to, they're still identical. Just like everything else. ANKR still looks pretty good. Just as, ICX, Atom, Algo, they all do the same. Okay, so resistance, now support, flipping it as support. So we're going to just kind of bounce around, catch a pop up to maybe not that high. I would say try to maybe 100 Satoshi, 100 sats or so before the rejection. MACD looks to support that on the daily. 12 hours still trending bull. However, it just may be a little slower getting up there. But this 90, or no, yeah, I'd say probably 100 to 105 Satoshi could be possible. Wow, when did this go on such a big run? Holy shit. How did this go 10x and we missed every single bit of this? From May even. That's 1,000% run and we didn't even notice. I think maybe we noticed it on this push here because that alone looks like to be about 400%. Okay, 250%. But that's incredible. I didn't realize that we missed this. Okay, so for this coin, and I'm just playing out a scenario, a future scenario here. So if all altcoins are going to be testing the bottoms of some previous resistance zone or previous support zones that broke, so now this is going to be our resistance right here around 100 and 105. So if ANKR pumps up here and then Bitcoin decides to do its dirty little dump, I don't think this support is going to hold, and I would be looking back at about 50 Satoshi to reload. And then we can still technically make a higher low structure. And that would give it a good reset from 1,000% run. So this looks like a good structure when Bitcoin decides to dump again. Because that Bitcoin dump, which looks really, really likely. Oops. I need to change the bitstamp. I don't see much change in this really so far. This still looks to be pretty well, might be playing out. So we might roll into spring, early spring, when we bottom out around 7,000 if it doesn't do something stupid and within the next 10 to 15 days dumps 50% like it did the last dump. So if this is a slow grind out to early spring of next year to bottom out and make another higher low on a macro structure, that puts it right in line with what I was suggesting. I don't remember what coin that was. That would snake its way, whatever, up until February of next year for, I think it was Atom or Algo. Was it Algo? Well, I don't remember. But it was some altcoin that I said that would kind of snake its way over a long pullback, until spring of next year or something before making the next leg up on altcoins. Oh, no, that was Dominance. No, maybe it wasn't. It was some altcoin. Okay, so yeah, that's what I see. That's what the markets are showing me. It looks like, KMD and Ion, they did not get any kind of major pumps at all. So maybe they'll catch some scam pumps before Bitcoin's next move. Most every coin that did make a move though, Algo, Icon, Atom, they all look identical on daily structures, even 12-hour structures. Resistances and then good good breakout pumps, and now they've all come back down to those supports. Damn. Okay, to those supports, catching relief bounces, and now they're coming back to correct on lower time frames. I still think 5,100 or so might be possible here for Icon over the next few days. Man, that already did start to drop, didn't it? Since we started this live stream, that is dropping already. So I'd be even looking around 4,400 maybe to ladder in a small buy, just in case bulls start to step in and front run the support at 4,250 or so. But so far, these look pretty well on point. Look at the MACD. That's still going to cross up bull. So we still can, low time frame, catch that pullback on ICX before catching the next push up. And then hold on to that resistance, and then Bitcoin dumps, and then drops it all the way back down to 3,300 again to hold another higher low right here off that structure. Something like that. I know, not an exciting live stream. To me, it looks like overall the markets are kind of spooked still. All eyes are still on Bitcoin to see what it's going to do. Dominance looks to be hanging on by a thread, whether if it can make a double bottom and then bounce, which crushes altcoins. At the same time, it looks like it can snake a little bit further down into this wedge and give alts another bounce, digging a little bit deeper into this support before dominance bounces, which puts us early next month to happen, which is still time for altcoins to bounce. Again, back to Bitcoin here. This looks pretty well gridlocked. There's almost, FTX looks like it has the most amount of liquidity, and it looks to be about even sales as it does bids. I don't know, guys. I mean, the markets overall look spooked. So if you, if you're taking a break, that's great. ETH looks like it might be time for a little short. I like to see it pop a little bit higher and then at least catch a 7% drop here to retest the support at 360. So we may catch something like that. Oh, from the last update, last live stream, we had talked about Bing Bong. I hadn't gotten a chance yet to do this copy trade, get the copy trade set up yet. But one of the members showed me kind of how it works. So essentially, you guys would, follow me, and then you'd be able to manually set how much of your position or your portfolio that you want to risk every time I open a trade. Regardless of how much my trade is. So if I put in a $4,000 position at 10x for a $40,000 position, and you have yours set to only open $200 or whatever, then it'll automatically open and close that trade depending on when I open and close my trade. So regardless of how much I risk, you can manually set how much you are willing to risk, and it'll just automatically open and they'll close those trades for you. So I'll work on setting that up tomorrow, so you guys can all, come follow on the copy trade, and then we'll scalp some US dollar pairs and see if we can't make a couple $1,000s or so within the next few weeks, next week or two before the next Bitcoin dump, and then make sure that we're just on the right side of that trade. So that's it, guys. I mean, the market still looks just spooked, kind of hanging on by a thread. This really honestly scares me, to be honest. And I'm really, really worried, because that is a nasty rejection with that rollover. May get a similar structure, something like this, which would be fine too. But I don't think so, because we're already under bear here, and this last rejection up here at 14,000 that made this. We didn't quite cross under bear just yet, so I don't know. We can still get that last push up, which could save altcoins just enough to get out of them, and then we're out. But this looks like a real probability for Bitcoin. So this rejection here, so we only topped out, let's see, about 12.5 on Bitstamp. And if we were to draw a line over the top of those candles even, at 12.3, we made a lower high than the tops of the previous candles from the 14K dump. So that is an exhaustion. Bulls did not even retest the previous highs at 14K. We couldn't even test the previous candle closes at 12.5. So this was an exhaustion rejection, which is not good news for Bitcoin. So unless there's some kind of major bullish event or something, you know, I don't know, Trump says, hey, we're getting into Bitcoin, I just don't see how we're going to, you know, everybody's still thinking we're going to go to like all-time highs and push up to 20,000. Very, very cautious of that crap. This looks much more probable. I just want to hope that we don't see the nasty dump that we saw last time. Slow and controlled, leading us into February would be perfect by me. All right, that's it, guys. I know, not exciting right now. The markets are kind of spooked. They're kind of boring. Good time to learn if you're new. Good time to check out some education content. Hit us up in the DMs if you have any questions or if you need like a one-on-one and there's something that you are not understanding on charting or whatever. We can certainly get all that stuff answered. So I would take this time to rest. August was a great month if you made profit. So take a little time off or whatever until something pops or whatever. And then we'll just get back at it when the market looks up again. So that's it, guys. I mean, I'll still be around. Hit me up if you need me. Bye.